Oh boy, I definitely was not expecting this. Good morning, everybody. How you doing today? My name's Andrew.
I'm Daniel.
I'm Matt.
I'm Kelly.
And we're some of the Veggie boys.
And girls.
And we'd like to thank you for stopping by. If you're new here, consider subscribing because we can grow a lot of stuff on the farm, but one thing we can't grow is this channel without your help. Welcome back, everyone. It's so nice to see you. We are getting ready to deal with a scorcher of a week. They have been forecasting warmer than normal temperatures for our area, and that's something we're gonna be dealing with for the next few days. Now, I'm not too worried about how we're gonna handle it, but I am worried about how the animals are gonna handle it and our crops that we've got out in the field. Currently, we're working on morning chores. It still is a little on the cooler side this morning. I'm just more concerned as we get towards the later part of this week. It's gonna be hot. We're just gonna have to keep a close eye on these animals. And well, when it comes to the crops, that's a whole different story, which we'll touch on later. Before we move on to our next job, I wanted to show you what we did in our lower greenhouses. Here in greenhouse number 5, we cleared everything out and put down some mum pots. We raised quite a few fall mums around here. Greenhouse number 5 is basically all full. Greenhouse number 4 is completely full. And last but not least, our largest greenhouse, which is completely full of mums and some leftover summer annuals. But we'll be able to sell these. Oh boy, I definitely was not expecting this. Well, our first job of the day was to come out and inspect these crops, and oh boy, I was not expecting this. Now, we knew this heat wave was coming. We weren't sure how bad it was gonna be, but we did end up preparing in a sense by hooking up our drip irrigation. So I'll show you how that went, and you can see how the crops kind of looked before. Hey y'all, for the past couple days we've been dealing with some really warm weather, and it's gonna continue into next week. Now, a byproduct of all this sunshine that we've been receiving and these warm temperatures is things are looking a little dry. And for the most part, the plants seem to be doing pretty good. Cucumbers, pickling cucumbers and zucchini, they are thriving. We got some watermelon and cantaloupe here. They don't seem to be bothered by it too much. And lastly, and certainly not least, the tomatoes on the mulch that we had planted, they're doing amazing. I mean, you can look down through the rows and see the strips of green. I like to sit here and tell you that it's all good when it comes to stuff that is planted on the mulch. However, some of our peppers are looking a little rough, and we're thinking that's from the dry weather. But today we're gonna try and change that. We're gonna hopefully get a lot of these drip irrigation lines hooked up, and we're gonna get some water on these crops. We normally don't worry about this too much. We kind of get enough rain that it's not really a problem. However, we haven't been getting rain. It's been getting hot, and it's gonna get hotter, so we need a solution to our problem. Hey. Just the other day, Dad had made a special trip to pick up a lot of piping that we're gonna need to irrigate all of these crops. We already have our large filter, which is gonna take any sediment out that could clog up our drip lines. So we're gonna get this into place, make sure this is all good to go. And I'd say that's probably the biggest step, getting that huge filter moved out here, making sure it's in the right spot. Once that's in place, we get all our lines moved around. We just have to get everything plugged in. And that's just time-consuming work, not very difficult. Dad's showing us all the cool stuff that he got just to hook up the irrigation pipe. But check these things out. We gotta punch holes in the main pipe, and then these things, oh, these are nice. And then Dad got a whole new container of connectors with valves, and we put the connectors with valves on the tomato rows because when like half the tomatoes are ripe, we like to turn the water off so that they don't get too much moisture and split. Then we've got some regular connectors. These are gonna go on the pepper rows. So valves are gonna go on any rows that have tomatoes or something that we're gonna need to turn the water off to. The rest of these connectors are gonna be for any other row. I'm gonna give you a little demonstration about how we get these set up. Now, it's gonna be much easier when there's water actually in the pipe to use our hole punchers, because it's kind of difficult when the pipe is warm and flexible like this. But we basically take our hole puncher and we punch a hole into the pipe. Then we take one of our connectors with a valve. These are for the tomatoes. We put that right in there, and we just connect our drip line into the other side. And that's basically it. Once we have the water flowing, we're gonna be able to water everything at one time. So we're just gonna have to go down through and get every single line hooked up the same way. I don't know if it's because of the heat today or what it is, but these pipes are giving a little bit too much, and it's making it so that the hole punch does not want to work too well. You know, sometimes when you're working on the farm, the weather can make things pretty dramatic. And you can say like, oh, this needs to be done today. This is like one of the times where I will say a job is like that. Kind of urgent to get this taken care of with how hot and dry it's been. Not that I'm necessarily worried about the crops, but this definitely isn't good for them. We have now got all of our connectors hooked up in this first section, so we no longer have to worry about these peppers and the first few rows of tomatoes. Once we do start running the water through, we will have to go to the other end and tie it off. That way we don't lose water pressure and we just don't lose water in general. I'm not gonna lie, I'm really bummed out that hole punch did not work the way we wanted it to, because that would make this job much easier. I mean, using the knife is fine, but you really got to be careful you don't slice the pipe up too much so we have leaks later on. But there you go, that's how easy it can be just to get one of these water lines hooked up. Just like that. Now we are all set and ready to go. Now what's interesting is the pipe we were using, that material is kind of softer, which makes it a lot easier to punch through. But just because we punch holes into it doesn't mean it's going to be splitting off all over the place. It can handle some high pressure. Now we don't want to be doing that with our blue hose. We are using our blue hose to connect two different sections of pipe. So all the way over there is where our first section was. We're running blue hose up to where we are now, and then we're gonna switch into our black hose again where we can punch holes into it. There's a few reasons why we do that. The black hose is much cheaper than the blue hose. And if we were to run high pressure through that blue hose, anywhere there's a little cut or a crack, there's a chance it could split it. And yeah, that would just be a big waste of money. We try not to act like this is an end of the world type job. However, with the way the weather's looking, and hopefully we get rain, but if we didn't, well, some of these crops would really be put in a bad spot. So that's why it's so important to get this done. Not to make everything so dramatic, because we really don't like to do that, but it's getting to that point. It's getting a little dramatic around here.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's never dramatic here.
I'm sweating. I can tell.
I can tell too. Oh, but you're doing such a great job, Matt. Don't turn your back to me.
Careful pulling on these, Andrew, because it's real loose at the other end. It comes right.
Yep. Let's strip this off and see if this...
We are hooking up the waters so that the peppers get water.
Then we can control the
water, right?
control the flow. Control the flow. Yeah, baby?
That one needs a valve on the back.
You need me?
Oh,
I'm right here.
What are you doing?
I'm hooking up the water line. Want to come watch?
Yeah.
Come here. Come stand over here. Okay. You stand right there. So I plug this in here. And then there's a valve, so I can turn the valve on or off. So I have the valve off right now because I'm about to tighten it up so we have no leaks. We're now at the completely other end of the field, and we're just checking to make sure that we have water coming out of these drip lines. And anywhere that we have water coming out, we're gonna tie it up so that it builds the pressure. There's one we gotta tie up. There's another one we gotta tie up. Looks good. When water doesn't come all the way to the end, that's a sign that either there's a kink in the hose somewhere or we've got a hole in it from when we were transplanting. Both things we'd have to get taken care of. Well, we ended up getting all the lines hooked up everywhere that we had plants put into the soil. Yes, I'm shirtless. Don't ask. it's a long story. But regardless of me being shirtless, we got everything taken care of that we needed to. All the plants are being watered, and yeah, that's a good day. And here we have some of the crops after just a few days. There has been some sizable growth here. We have our regular cucumbers and our pickling cucumbers in this section of field. And as you can see, we've got little tiny cucumbers showing up. Ho-ho, check that out. Not only do we have little cucumbers, but this is the time to get excited because, oh, check it out, baby zucchinis and a lot of blossoms. Now, the whole reason for coming out here is because we've been so busy and I really haven't had a chance to update you guys on what's been going on. And since we've got the water lines hooked up, these plants have kind of exploded. And I mean, it's really obvious to see that just by looking at them, but we wanted to go a little more in depth and show you that there's been a lot of growth. Did I just pick the first cucumber of the year? I might have. Don't tell Pop Pop every time he picks the first cucumber, we have to act like, oh wow, Pop Pop, great job. No, I'm just kidding. He's probably already picked one, but as you can see, we are on the verge of harvest. Now, even though it's gonna be a really, really hot week, some of you may be concerned, you know, are your plants gonna make it through it? Are they gonna continue to be able to produce like this? And the answer is yes, because we got our drip lines hooked up, I don't think we're gonna have any problems. The important thing to mention is the job of irrigation is not done. As you can see, our pickling cucumbers, our regular cucumbers and zucchini look great. We've got some watermelon and cantaloupe in these rows. They look phenomenal. And as we get further and further down the field, we move into our tomatoes, and our first planting of tomatoes looks awesome. The thing I'd like to mention is that we're starting to see a lot of blossoms on each one of these plants. So that just helps us to appreciate it's only a matter of time till we're gonna be picking. In the coming weeks, we're really gonna go into some detail about the growing process and our thoughts and reasons why we do a lot of the things that you see here. So now would be the time. In the comments, let me know what kind of questions you have about our tomatoes, peppers, eggplants, potatoes, basically anything that you've seen us grow. Put those questions down in the comments and hopefully we can answer them in an upcoming video. Comparatively to what we've seen just a few days ago and to now with the drip irrigations all hooked up, it is truly amazing. And I think we're all pretty excited about what's to come in the near future. The only thing we really haven't checked out yet would be our peppers that we got hooked up on the drip irrigation. So we're gonna run over and check those out. Now, peppers tend to get hit a little bit harder by transplant shock, but we do have beautiful strips of green going out through the field, and that's encouraging. That shows us that these plants are starting to take root. When we transplanted these, they were a little tall and lanky, so we had to be careful. But for the most part, I think they're gonna be all okay, and we're gonna have a beautiful field of peppers here. Now, some of you may be saying, this doesn't seem like that difficult of a job to get started off with today. But to keep it exciting, I didn't show you everything I was doing. I was walking back and forth a little bit, checking plants, checking leaves. Yeah, the stuff that I wouldn't consider too exciting, but I wanted to just comb the fields a little bit, make sure we didn't have any problems where our drip lines had come apart, and I think we're okay. I think we're gonna be just fine, and these crops are gonna make it through this heat wave with no problem. But what about the stuff that is not hooked up on the drip irrigation? Well, we've got something else in mind for that.
Well, that's why I thought you were gonna put the whole thing in.
Cucumber.
Yeah.
I saw them this morning.
Oh, I knew you would have seen them.
Yeah, I thought we'd be picking by the weekend.
We're about to do just about every farmer's least favorite job, laying irrigation pipe. I don't care what Andy has told you or anybody has told you, laying irrigation pipe is the worst job on the farm. Mainly just because it's always hot. The weather's hot, it's dry, dusty usually, because you're not laying irrigation pipe if it's cool and it's wet. So what we got going on right now is we're gonna lay pipe out through our peas so we can get them some water. But the main goal is reaching out to our broccoli and cabbage and cauliflower, all of our cole crops, because they're getting a little dry. We're gonna try and get some water on them because all that's getting to the point where it's just about to start making heads. So some water right now is really important. And we're gonna be getting some hot weather here in the next couple days. It's gonna be almost 90 for the rest of the week. So be a good time to be able to get some water on that stuff. We'll try and get some footage of this for you. You can see how we get it all set up. Right now, I don't know if you can see over there on the wagon, got a bit of a mess. We picked up all the pipe from last year. We got 3 different kinds of pipe. couple different lengths, couple different sizes, because irrigation pipe is expensive to buy, especially if you're buying it brand new. So where we've gotten it as piecemeal from smaller farms that are selling their old stuff or getting rid of stuff, that we're able to buy it there. So we got a couple different styles, different lengths, different thicknesses, and we kind of just get it all together that we can make it work. So right now we are laying our 40-foot pieces out through the piece, and we'll try and get some footage of that for you. Push it in. Push it towards me.
We're gonna go right down the center of the road. I want to make sure we get this.
Okay, so we'll hug this side.
Yeah, we're gonna go one more long one, and we have a 45 at home.
Okay. What do we need a 45 for? This one's backwards. Oh, no, it's right. Oh. Just set it right, yeah. Just set it here.
This one's a plug, you're not even gonna get a sprinkler out of it.
Just laid a bunch of pipe out.
So it goes all the way down there, all the way up around the corner.
This will be real nice. It'll allow us to get some water onto this cabbage and broccoli. It's just starting to get to the point where it needs to make head, and we're just getting into some real dry, hot weather, which is not really the best thing for cold crops. Good, we got this all laid out. It is lunchtime right now, so we're gonna run back to the farm to grab some lunch. And then after that, we are gonna bring out our sprinklers, get all of our sprinklers plugged in, and then we are gonna flush this line and hopefully be able to get some irrigating done. We might be laying some more pipe too, because since we have the pipe out, we wanna get the early sweet corn, get some pipe laid, and maybe even the potatoes get some pipe laid. Irrigation, setting up irrigation anyway, is like a farmer's least favorite job. A couple reasons for that. One, means it's not raining. Never a good thing when you're not getting any rain. Two, means you're gonna have to be pumping some water, spending some money on gas to grow your crop. Adding inputs like that, never what a farmer wants to do. And two, it's usually like always an emergency. Like today, we're actually have some time to sit down and do this and not make a big deal out of it. But generally when we're doing this, it's because it needs to be done immediately. So rush jobs are never fun jobs. All right, we're back at the farm for lunch. Grammy, what's for lunch?
Reuben sandwiches.
Ooh, some grilled cheeses. And here's the Reubens over here. To finish off the day, we were able to get our irrigation system all hooked up. We had our pump in place, the lines were flush, and we were good to go. We ended up watering all last night, and it's hard to like gauge growth day by day, but just by looking at it, it looks so much better here. The broccoli looks good, it's added some nice size, but what I'm most impressed about is this cabbage. Like, it's hard to tell, but I'm telling you, it looks bigger. All throughout the entire field, this cabbage just has like exploded. And one of the easiest ways to tell is just by the heads on the cabbage really starting to wrap up. Look at this one. Oh yeah. As you all saw, the pipe was laid from the peas into the cole crops. So if we show you the cole crops, we have to show you the peas. This is our second planting, and the bushes have really grown out wide. But probably the number one thing I have to show you is that we are starting to see peas that are on the verge of being ready to harvest. Oh boy. Look at this. This one's ready. Oh man. Uh-oh. It's about to get busy. Now this video was a few days in one. There's multiple reasons for that. We had a lot going on, not only on the farm, but Callie ended up getting sick. We had to take her to the hospital. She's all good. She's all better. Just was a little scary for the time being. I got really sick. My wife got really sick. Thankfully, the twins were okay. But yeah, that has not been fun. We're all doing much, much better now. Another thing, 200K subscribers. If I went back to the beginning and I told you that one day we would have 200K subscribers, I don't know what I don't even know why I would have said that. Really, that'd have been crazy to think. But the fact that we have 200K subscribers, we have so many people that have supported us throughout the way, and we have more and more people joining every day. It's wild. But I just want to say thank you to everybody that's here. My goal is to continue making content that everyone will enjoy. And yeah. Thank you for being a part of my crazy life and giving me an opportunity to share with you something that I love doing. Farming. Growing food. Eating food. Oh, that's so good. But yeah. I just felt it was appropriate to take some time and say thank you. And if you guys are willing to be with me for the journey, maybe one day we'll hit 300K, 400K, 500K, which would, again, be wild because I'm just farming, you know. I'm just showing you what we're doing, but I'm just glad you guys enjoy it. And always do my best to make sure the videos are fun and entertaining and interesting. Not only interesting, I'd like to say educational as well. There's a lot of people who watch these videos for different reasons, but we just appreciate it and thank you guys for being along with us. With that being said, this is where we're gonna end the video today. I'd like to thank everyone for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.